And if I may come to you first, Charu Pragya, the Prime Minister may have displayed his magnanimity and chosen to forgive those girls or those young men and women who abused him and in the process even made vile comments on his departed mother. But the Prime Minister's magnanimity is one thing, but that doesn't quite set it right. It doesn't say that what they did was correct. However, we saw a whole flurry of writings, columns, even media shows trying to in a way give a safe passage to these vile comments made by young men and young women. Do you think this kind of commentary, which tries to justify in the name of anger or outrage or whatever political argument they may be, does it not encourage people more to pull in women towards these misogynistic comments and abuse the women in the process?
Thank you very much, Smitaji, and my namaste to everyone on the panel and to all our viewers today. And I think you have put it wonderfully. We are here at the brink of ensuring more and more women become a part of the political discourse of our country. We are at the brink of ensuring 33% representation in assemblies and parliament is of women. But at the same time, women are battling something which has been going on for decades, and there is no improvement on that front. In fact, if possible, it is becoming worse. Do you know over 80% of the women get dissuaded from joining public life only because of this fear of abuse? Some
I'm
of
sure.
it in person,
I'm sure.
a lot of it online. And the data is startling. It is scary because 76% women leaders globally, not just in India, globally, face trolling and abuse which is sexist and misogynistic in nature. And if this is the situation that women in the highest offices are facing, imagine what the situation is for everyone else. We all know about this concept of a glass ceiling, Smitaji. We have grown up listening to it. We all understand the glass ceiling. But today, I think that glass ceiling has turned into a glass cage. It is a glass cage inside which women are. Everything they do, everything they say is scrutinized, it is analyzed, and it is used to bring them down even further. And I'm going to take some examples. See, in India, I can take examples of the tallest of our leaders, from our first Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji to Sushma Swaraj ji to recent times Nirmala ji, Smriti ji. Everybody faces harassment from people, abuses from people online. A lot of that it is hidden by anonymity thanks to the nature of social media. But even internationally, I use the example of Julia Gillard. She was the first female Prime Minister of Australia. She gave a 15-minute speech in her parliament talking about the misogyny she's been facing. In recent times, Sanna Marin, she was the Prime Minister of Finland, and that Prime Minister was scrutinized so much because there was a video, some photographs of her dancing in her off time with her friends. So this kind of scrutiny is not just reserved to a woman's personal life. She is judged from her looks to her words, and when nothing else remains, she is subjected to rape threats, death threats, her family being pulled in, her children being pulled in, whatnot. I think we need stronger legislature to deal with people who are resorting to this kind of misogyny, even online or in person. We need a faster response system. Yes, we've got IT rules in place, and we say that we can pull up abuses online, but it has to be made even faster. Police, cyber police especially, has to act even faster, because if we cannot create a safe working space for our women, and especially women in leadership positions, then we have a lot of introspection to do.
No, good words and reflective words. But the point is, there are laws in place, rules and regulations are there. Women have been, taking recourse to the legal process also. But there is also a question about what are political parties within their fold trying to do to ensure a cleaner environment, safer environment.